Lisa Joshi, and I'm back again with my talk show. You all know this. It's called Mona Lisa's Talk Show, and the best part is that I've been able to complete 5 seasons of it with 50 authors, and I feel
Wow.
so blessed that I could actually interview 50 authors. This was a wonderful journey, and now I'm at season 6, episode 1, and I have a very special guest with me today. Her name is Sonal Singh. She is a very renowned face in the literary world, an award winning author, blogger, poet, and a management professional. So let's quickly welcome Sonal. Hi, Sonal, how are
Thank you
you?
so much. Hi, Mona Lisa. Thank you so much for having me on the show. First of all, congratulations for having completed 50 episodes. That's a huge milestone. I mean, I
Thank you.
know India doesn't have a dearth of authors, but convincing people, getting them onto the show, aligning times, I mean, it's a huge effort behind this, just one talk. So, congratulations on accomplishing that. And I hope that the you reach the century mark pretty soon now.
Absolutely, I'm looking forward to that. So I'm really excited to talk to you after a long time because we were all busy with one thing or the other. So finally, this talk show has given us a reason to again unite and talk. And before we start, let me just ask you this question: that how's your day going? How's the weather there?
The weather is, I mean, I think when I relocated from Bombay to Hyderabad, I think I've kind of brought seismic changes to Hyderabad. I brought a little bit of Mumbai weather here. So Mumbai has
Okay,
been raining non-stop for the last 3 days, 4 days. And
great. Yeah.
Hyderabad was pretty much same, in the same ballpark kind of thing. So
Okay.
Hyderabad has also been raining, but for the last, I think today it's slightly sunnier. It was slightly sunnier. So we kind of enjoyed the sun. हमारे कपड़े सूख गए. So we were very happy about
The most important thing for women, really.
कपड़े कैसे सूखा?
You said.
So yeah, so it's sunnier now. So hopefully the weather will persist now. It will be a little sunnier.
Wonderful. So are you all settled in? Man lag gaya?
Yeah, it's been like what 4 years now. So yeah. I love Hyderabad. I love being here. It's a very vibrant, culturally vibrant city. So lots of events going on all the time and other things. So yeah, I love it here.
So what's going to be the next stop?
What will be the?
What's going to be the next stop? Means any plans to change further the location, the place?
Not right now. Right now, happy just being settled here. So unless
Okay.
God willing, there is a divine intervention. God, wants us to go in another direction. So देंगे, but left it to God right now.
Okay. Wonderful. Chalo, let's talk about your books. And I would really love to know about your first poetry book, Island in the Stream. I think you
Right.
are quite aware that it's a book also titled by Ernest Hemingway, one of his notable works.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
I want to know that was the inspiration from that book only, or it was your like own imagination, and then you got to know okay this title exists.
No, actually, honestly speaking, this is not my own imagination. It was definitely the poem, the titular poem, Islands in the Stream, that was, I imagined and wrote that. But this title is actually borrowed. So it's not borrowed from Ernest Hemingway's book that was a novel about a man. But I
Right.
borrowed this title from a pop song by John Denver and Dolly Parton. So there's this very old and very famous song which goes, Islands in the Stream, that is who we are. So
Okay.
I've loved that forever. I'm a huge fan of English country music, and I've loved this song for the longest time. So
Mm-hmm.
somehow, when I wrote this book, it was about nature and about feelings and things. And then the cover page was my one of my mother's paintings, which I adapted into the cover page. So when I saw this title just sprung into mind. So
Right.
that's how this came about, honestly speaking.
Okay. So apart from nature and what you said just now, nature and
Human emotions in nature. So the book is subdivided into two sections. One is on nature, and the second part is about human emotions and our foibles, basically. So
okay.
that's how this title has come about.
Hmm.
This is the only
So
thing which
does
I
it
thought.
kind of right? So does it kind of portray your observations as well? Some anecdotes, maybe from real life stories.
From real life stories. So there is a poem in that book actually. It is called The Lost Nonage, which is basically a poem about childhood. So it's about a person thinking back on their life and reflecting and kind of thinking, where did my childhood go? You know, those days of playing on the seesaw, or those days of the slide, or under the apple boughs or in the orchard. So everything that I had a fantastic childhood which I've spent in Air Force camps, because my father was an Air Force officer. So we grew up, all the Fauji bachas kind of grow up in nature only. So since I grew up in that, so that is something I translated into that poem. And yeah, so that I would say is a real life incident that kind of translated itself into poetry. Plus, I've written about COVID and how everything went silent. One of the
Right.
poems is devoted to COVID in that book. So that's how it all came about.
So exactly how much time it takes you take for you to compile the book?
It took me, I would say, actually, I've always written poetry. Even as a child, I've written poetry, but then I kind of, then life happened, children happened, career happened. So that all took a back seat. I think around 2018 or 2019, I joined Penmancy. And through Penmancy, then I learned that there were other literary forums, and I joined so many others. And it was their, monthly challenges or daily challenges of writing a poetry. That's what rekindled this love in me. So 2019 was the time when I really started writing poetry again. It took me 2 years, and in 21 this book was released. Yeah, it's a compilation of a lot of work that I did during that time, and because I was rediscovering my love for poetry, and I'm a person who's very influenced by the old masters. So Lord Byron and Wordsworth and Keats, Yeats. So that's how a lot of the poems in this book have archaic English or old English. One
Right.
entire series is like that. And people have told me they found very difficult to kind of read and understand. So with my second book, I've actually gone the other way. I've tried to use kind of lesser words and vocabulary which would be more colloquial to people.
And
So that's what
yeah,
I've done.
right. So I think you are not a you're not from a literature background. I think you've read those books later.
Yeah. I'm not from a literature background. So my background is science and management only. But yeah, I come from a family in which we've always had libraries within the house. I mean, libraries as big as room, reading was encouraged a lot. Plus, my mother, of course, is a writer. So I've just kind of grown up around books since a very young age. So for me to start writing was kind of very organic. And it didn't really matter whether I had come from a literature background or not. But yeah, I read so much about it, all the old poets. I used to collect books, so poems by Rossetti or poems which were lesser known, which people wouldn't usually read. Those kind of
Yes.
became my favorites.
So my
That's
point was okay. So my point was to ask you this, that mostly what we see in literature students, or what we are taught, are like literary devices. We are taught the rhythm
Right.
and pattern, how to write the stanza, the formatting. So you have learned it on your own. So that's what I wanted to know.
Yes, a
Because-
lot of it I learned on my own. I read up on those things, and a lot of these also I learned because I was attempting Penmancy's monthly writing challenges, plus Artoons and writing challenges. These challenges actually, Penmancy gives you very difficult poetry challenges to write, and those really helped me because I had to do a lot of research in order to write one poem, and they had to be within a certain syllable. Similarly, it was with Artoons in, and it was so with Poetry Planet at that time. So that's how I basically, this knowledge has come about because I was forced to read in order to attempt writing. So that's how it came about.
that's wonderful. So these groups have really enhanced your craftsmanship.
Definitely. I credit them with whatever organic growth I have achieved. I credit these groups completely. Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, so I would really want to know that when a reader picks your book, Island in the Stream, so what would they take away from it when they finish reading it?
They would take away two things. That the first section is very difficult because that's the feedback I received. And that the second section is something they can relate to because those emotions about old age, about being alone after a beloved passes away, those kinds of things they could relate to. But I hope that when a person picks that volume up, of course, there are, I would say this was my first attempt at publishing a book. So there are a lot of things that could have gone better. Obviously, I was a novice. But it is my hope that when somebody picks that book up, what they take away with it is a sheer love for poetry. Because for me, poetry will always come before prose, even though I write prose, but poetry for me is pure love, pure passion and emotion. So I hope that's what they take away from it,
Wonderful. Okay, since you are a poet and you love to write poetry and you say that it's your passion, so I would really want to know that are there any favorites, like any classic or maybe the contemporary ones or the modern or the postmodern poets?
See, I would say the classics I would say there are a few poems which have stayed with me for a very long time. And these poems, I find myself going back to them again and again. So one is William Butler Yeats's The Lake Isle of Innisfree. So that poem has drawn me. The second one, which is an absolute favorite, it's a sad poem, but for me, it's brought me a lot of peace and seen me through some really tough times. Second one is by W.H. Auden. It's called Stop All the Clocks. This is coincidentally also a poem read out in the movie Four Weddings and a Funeral. So this, I love that poem. When I talk about the contemporary poets, I would say I really enjoy reading Santosh Bakaya ma'am's work. And Mahua Sen is another person who's an absolute favorite. Plus, I've loved your work. The initial books I've read, I of course haven't read the latest ones, Abhita, but the initial ones that I read, I've loved your work also because they're very prosaic. So emotion is spelled out very, very clearly. So that's something that I think that's what a poem needs to do, whatever you wanted to write. There's something going on in your head and you want to convey it to a reader. But the takeaway that a reader gets from reading your text, it could be very different. So for a poet, the greatest task is to be able to convey what they wanted to convey. So that prosaic poetry really works well there. And I really enjoyed reading that book of yours.
Thank you so much. So sweet of you. Okay, now I would like to quote you, of course, from your book, somewhere between the ache of longing and the hush of acceptance, between what lingers and what lets go, leaves a space where the shadow touches the soul. So I really want to understand these lines from your perspective and why this title, Between the Shadow and the Soul.
Okay, this title because I am utterly in love with Pablo Neruda and his poetry. So Pablo Neruda has been somebody who's inspired me and who's actually taught me how to read love poetry. So, I've never been a Shakespeare fan or a fan of his sonnets, but Pablo Neruda's sonnet, Between the Shadow and the Soul, when he writes, that some things are to be loved in a certain way, like between the shadow and the soul. So that's what inspired me to pick this title. And I wanted to bring out poetry which captures that particular facet of a human being in which, as I said, the shadow and soul are merging and they're touching each other. So I believe each individual has two different, distinct facets. One is our soul, things which we feel deeply, which we carry within us, which we wouldn't want to share. And then there is another facet to our personality, that is the shadow that trails us, that brings the external influences into our life. But at the same time, it is also a shadow that is never leaving us. So it's inexplicably linked to our soul. And in between these two things is the individual who is feeling the entire gamut of emotions. So that's what I wanted to bring out, and that's the reason I chose this particular title, actually.
Okay. But since your poetry books are sounding quite, like deep and layered, I see you as a very happy-go kind of person. So इतना सारा deep thought process आया कहाँ से?
I know. In moments of reflection, early morning, I write either late at night. Poetry is something I've always written late at night when I'm sitting alone or early in the mornings. So that's why a lot of my poetry is inspired by nature. And but as a writer, as a prose writer, my default setting is humor. So humor, sarcasm, sass, puns, galore. I love writing humor. So that's where my naturally sarcastic personality comes to.
Okay. So I have just heard this news and saw one of your posts as well that you've just won the first, I think, the full-fledged novel
The Pitch
publication.
Fest, the Penmancy Pitch
Yeah,
Fest, yes,
yeah.
season 3. Right.
So
Yeah.
first of all, congratulations for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you
And
so
it's
much.
really a big news that your full-fledged novel is coming out. So I'm just curious that would you like to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to give away the suspense, but yeah, I can share a little bit of brief. And
Definitely.
I'm actually really thrilled. I never expected to win. I never expected to write this book, very honestly speaking. So I'd been thinking in the last 5 years, I have started manuscripts which I thought would click with the readers. And there are stories, which have been like 25K words, 35K words, and all of them are somewhere in some folder. But I've never really been able to go beyond a certain point because somewhere I felt that the story is not me. This is not who I am. I was writing for the readers. And when this Pitch Fest came, I had just this idea in my head. And I remember I was speaking to Kajal, who's the founder, and I was like, what if I can't complete this? I've entered this Pitch Fest. What if I am not able to write the book? And she's like, you withdraw at that stage. It's okay, but at least try. You should try to write it.
Right.
So the reason this book came about is that I'm a very passionate animal lover and rescuer. So I love animals, and I have a little mini zoo at my home. Last year, I rescued a baby sunbird, a sunbird chick, which is a nectar-eating species, and we cared for it for a month and a half, 2 months, and then we eventually rehabilitated it. That entire episode, I started cataloging. So when I cataloged, because it was a very small chick and a nectar-eating species, it didn't even know that nectar comes from flowers. So it had to be taught how to suck nectar from flowers. It had to be initially hand-fed, then taught how to self-feed, taught how to fly because it couldn't even fly. So these things kind of, somewhere I realized that this is the kind of story that is me. This is who I am. This is what I should be writing. That is what the story is. It's the story of a middle-aged person like me, an empty nester, a middle-aged woman, very meddlesome, which I'm not, I assure you. That's just my character. So, a very meddlesome kind of woman, and how this chick crash lands into her life and makes her re-evaluate her life, her viewpoints, her perspectives. So this is that story basically, but just told in a very, very humorous manner.
Humorous manner. So it's really sounds interesting, and I'm sure it's going to be wonderful. Of course, humor इतना भरा होगा तो fun होगा.
I hope so.
Acha, I want to ask you one thing. Since you have covered a lot of long journey, if we see from that perspective, from the point you started, you joined the groups, then you became active in writing, then your books came out. So first 2 poetry books have come out. So what would you say what do you feel actually that what is the response when it's a poetry book out there and when it's a novel out there? Because since you have read many novelists out there, so what is the thing that you feel that poetry book is it somewhere lagging still when it comes to the sales and
I
all?
think poetry does not get its due in India, maybe because there are a lot of poets writing. And the beauty about poetry is contemporary poets kind of tend to forget the rules of writing classical poetry. So उसमें होता क्या है? Everybody is a poet. Anybody who can rhyme becomes a poet. And with so many different books being published and everybody aggressively marketing their books also, people have too much material when it comes to poetry. Not everybody is interested in it also. So poetry, I feel, does not get its due, definitely. And as far as response for my book is concerned, I think the first book, since I was at that time a part of a lot of literary forums I was writing, so there was a lot of excitement my friends had built up. For my second book also, my friends have been really kind. They've helped me promote it. They've helped, review it and share it with others and all. But I think when it comes to prose, writing novels, and especially when you're writing it and publishing it under a big banner, that really helps. That helps with distribution. It helps with placing it in the right places. It helps with gathering better reviews. So poetry and prose का ये distinction तो India में I think है ही. You need to aggressively self-promote poetry books.
That's true. I don't think it's only in India, it's also in abroad as well, because I've talked to some of the writers from, like, there was one New York Times bestseller. So they were also saying the same thing. You have to self promote. There's no such thing. You just sit back and relax and your book is
Right,
going to be done.
right, right.
You have to put efforts.
So I think writing, I would say, writing is just 25% of the work. After that, the remaining 25% is editing that work so that it shines. And the 50% that remains is basically promoting that book, aggressively talking about it. वो है ना imemyself.com. वो typical उस mode में आना without it being too preachy and too like मतलब without it making enemies out of friends type of situation. But you have to promote your own work. You have to enter it into lit fests and other things. And there is a considerable monetary, consideration also. There's a financial drain also to doing all of this. So, but it has to be done. That's the only way to get it out there.
Exactly. That's true. And especially for the aspiring authors, if they are coming out with their debut books, they have to put more efforts to make that place for them. वो पैर जमाने के लिए they have to put those efforts.
They have to put that effort in. Yeah, you have to put some money in. You have to make associations, relationships. You have to leverage those relationships. Plus, it's not about just your book. It's like if you expect others to do something for you or read your book, you have to be equally invested in reading their work. You can't expect somebody to just pick up your work and when you are not doing that for them, especially when it comes to amateur authors like us. So that I think it's a whole tribe out there that we've built, and if we don't support each other, then there's no support coming externally. So it has to be managed within. So that's what I believe.
Exactly. And I hope that people would also have this kind of belief, because this is necessary and required right now.
It's just about getting the word out there, we're also there. That's it.
Okay, now since you have your poetry books with you, I would be so happy to read something.
Okay, so first I'm going to read out from Islands in the Stream, which was the first poetry book released in 21. There is a poem in here, which is, again, it's from the first section. It's titled Nights and Days. Okay. So it goes like, the nights are cast in glitter. They sparkle, glistening with the dust of dreams. Twinkling down at the stridulating cicadas that serenade them, in their opaque splendor, they don the mantle of relative quietude. And lulled by an unsung rhythm, they contentedly sigh. But the days are different. Bathed in brilliance, they shimmer. They invade spaces and light up the recesses. They shine with inquisitiveness and embrace resonance. Ringing with peals of chaotic din, in raucous cacophony, they hustle, bustle forth, chasing threads of hope. So this poem basically was just meant to bring out, I would say, to juxtapose night and day, and also to bring out the stark dissimilarities between the emotions that they evoke. So this was from the first book. From the second book, which is Between the Shadow and the Soul, from this I have a poem which is my favorite. It's titled Home.
Okay.
So it goes, somewhere in an amber-hued twilight, spilling molten gold to serenade the night, I wait silently, holding my breath to hear your exhale again, that soft, familiar music my silence aches for. Shutters down, doors shut, confined within the hush of pulse. My hollowness waits, not in sorrow, but in tender anticipation, for you to return, to invade the silence and fill up my empty corners with your lingering essence. Somewhere, in a dusky twilight that mirrors mine, you too reach for a doorknob, yearning to step in and fill my emptiness, for we are the same, you and I, two halves of an emotion, an echo and a call called home. So the idea behind this poem basically was that all of us, home is an emotion for everybody. And all of us, at the end of the day, all of us cannot wait to get home. We can't wait to turn the doorknob and walk into a space which just embraces us with love. I just tried to portray the flip side of this as well, that though we long for home, home in itself also longs for us equally, being empty throughout the day. It longs to hear our footsteps on the, maybe the flagstones. And this kind of, I just was trying to, via this poem, I was trying to, I would say, bring out both the emotions, both sides of the emotions, basically.
Right.
So that was the idea behind this poem.
Wonderful, wonderful poetry. So
Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to pick the second one because first one I've read already and the reviews also there on the website.
Oh, good.
So
No,
I'll
no,
just pick the
please allow me.
second
I
one.
will send. I will send it to you.
I didn't know, no, I'll pick up. Don't
No,
worry,
no,
I'll
I'll
pick
send
up.
you a copy. Don't worry.
Okay, so I want to know one more thing that I'll just ask you straight away. What's happening on Sonal's table right now these days?
What's happening on Sonal's table? So right now I'm an empty nester. So my table is kind of, I would say, it's not as filled as it used to be when the children were around, and I was cooking for them. But what is happening? Literally, that's what's happening. It's like hitting, the 50 milestone is kind of like, more healthful cooking. So more salads and soups and less of, korma and stuff like that. So
Right.
that's what's literally happening on my table, figuratively speaking. On Sonal's
Okay.
table, the novel is about to come out this year. Thank you. And Readomania has done a fantastic job with all aspects, I have to say. And apart from that, I'm already working towards the next book. So that's figuratively speaking what is going to happen on my table now, this year at least.
Wonderful. Looking forward to see those books as well when they come out. And so I just want to ask you one thing. This is something like off track, or maybe I could say a bit personal. Since you're talking that you are experiencing that empty nest syndrome right now, so is it really that difficult? Because I'm asking it from a point of view of a mother. My son is soon going to enter his college. So is it really
It's
difficult?
for a person like me, see, if I didn't have my animals, there's so many of these non-humans around in my house. With a husband who's perpetually traveling, and with both the children out, it would really have been a bad phase of my life, I would say. But yes, when both the girls first left, there was something that I told my husband, and I was like, I've always been a very hands-on mother. I love cooking for them, making treats, and that's how on Sonal's table and recipes and everything came about. So when they left, suddenly I felt that my hands had no use, because I would walk into the kitchen and I was like, इनको तो कुछ काम ही नहीं रह गया है अब, it's just that 2 chapatis and dal and sabji, that's it, that's what we eat. So it was the children for whom the treats were being prepared and things were being done, and they were like dragging me off, okay mom, let's go watch this movie, or let's go here. And suddenly everything just quietened down. So there was this silence, and it kind of entombed the entire house. And during the day, I found that, I would look forward to phone calls. And although I have video conferences with candidates because of my work and everything, but the silence really hits you, at least for the first few weeks. And then you gradually find your rhythm and get used to it. But yeah, the emptiness syndrome for me, it was literally real.
Okay. But won't you agree that earlier when we are always like, surrounded by people and we are always doing some routine work, we're running towards errands and everything, we were like craving for those me time. And now when we have it, why does it suddenly feel so lonely?
It feels very lonely. That's exactly what I put in my book. My first novel that has the same thing. That because my character also has twin daughters who've gone off to college for the first time, and she suddenly feels this emptiness thing. And she's like, when they were young and in school, I would crave this kind of silence. I just wanted 2 minutes of peace, and now that I have 200 minutes of peace, I crave this nonsensical laughter and bickering and fights and whatever they would get up to. So I guess it takes a person to lose something in order to realize its value, maybe. So now I realize the value of those conversations, that chatter, which would drive me crazy. And I really
Right.
miss that. I really miss that.
I can understand. So I won't make you emotional here. Let's say that I hope that your book does wonder. The second poetry book, first one I've seen a lot of great good reviews and great appreciation. Wishing you
Thank you
same
so much,
for the
Mona Lisa.
second as well, and also for the novel that's coming out soon. I hope maybe this year. So yeah, great.
I would like to ask you
catching
a
up on us.
question here before we conclude. I would like to
Sure,
know
sure.
what's new with you, as in what new book or magazine are you bringing out?
Currently, I'm not bringing out any magazine. I've stopped that part because
Hmm.
magazines are something like that demanded a lot of my time, because
Right,
designing is
time.
something that
Hmm.
needs a lot of time and precision. So I stopped doing that. But yeah, books are definitely. I'm doing two books, two titles a year. I've
Okay.
also slowed down a bit because I also want to focus on my writing as well,
My
because that was
right,
getting
very
some.
true, very true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That takes a backseat when you're
Yeah.
doing work like this. So, which is the next book that is coming out for you?
Yeah, so the next book which I'm editing is it's called Songs of Modern Matriarchs, and it talks
Okay.
about women, how they have overcome patriarchy challenges, suffering, anything, domestic violence, or maybe we can talk about many things here. So different women writers have written for it. So let's hope that it gets good love, amount of love, and
I'm sure it will. It
readers.
sounds very Maya Angelou kind of work, but I am sure it will get a lot of good appreciation. And I wish you all the success for it. I'll be sure to pick up my copy as well.
Yeah, and I'll just share a small good news with you that my debut collection of short stories, Demigods Alive, it sold out in all its copies
Oh,
this year. So
congratulations! That's amazing. That is amazing.
yeah,
Really
thank
amazing.
you so
I haven't
much.
read that. I will get to it soon enough. My TBR is like, I mean,
Same here.
now that my book is done, I've been going through it at record speed, reading books one after the other. But yeah, it still is like I've got half a bookshelf filled still, so I need to
Hmm.
get through all of that.
Definitely. So yeah, this is my side, and yeah, regular और बच्चों के साथ जो होता है, you do the everything around
Yeah, so you're
them for
running around
them.
all the time. Yeah. No, but
Yeah,
I wish you
exactly.
success. I hope that both of us find some measure of success this year with our books. That is the hope that I have. And that we
Yes,
continue to write, you continue to publish yourself and others as well. Because that's such a noble
definitely.
cause.
Definitely. Thank you so much, and I really look forward to read your works as well.
Thank you so much.
Lovely having you today. And yes, I have to tell you one surprise
Oh,
here. That's like, since you are the first guest for my season 6, you get a free book giveaway.
oh wow. That's really nice. Okay.
Yeah. So
Thank you so much.
it's something. It's a surprise. I won't tell you. Let's
All
see
right,
how you
fine.
like
I
it.
will wait for it. I will wait for it. And I'll be sure to read and share a review ASAP.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for having me, Mona Lisa. It's been great chatting with you, and I hope to meet you in person soon now. It's been quite a while
Definitely.
since we
Yes,
met. Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wonderful having you. So
Thank
thank you
you.
for joining. And audience, please watch this video whenever you have the time. And it will be also on YouTube and on Spotify. So do catch the conversation, and please pick the books, the two poetry books. I'll drop the link in description. And have a great evening all. Bye.
Thank you so much. Good night. Thank you, Mona Lisa.
Good
Bye
night.
bye.
Bye.